Hi, I'm a Forester here. Welcome to the fifth in a series of videos that I'm calling My Next Gun. I began making these videos for people like me who were new to handguns. The first four videos were about my choices in handguns for home defense, concealed carry, summer concealed carry, and a go-to-war handgun. I saw these as my basic handgun needs. You know, gun purchases easier to explain to the wife. The four handguns that I bought to fill these needs were the Smith & Wesson Model 66 in .357 Magnum, the Walther PPS in .40 Smith & Wesson, the Ruger LCP in .380, and the FNP9 in 9mm. Four guns, four different calibers, and four different manufacturers. I could have stopped buying handguns with these four, but I guess I was hooked. So after filling my handgun needs, I started thinking about some of my wants. Things like target pistols, 1911s caught my eye, Derringers, a lot of different guns that could serve specific niches and how I would use them. The very first niche I wanted to fill was that of a truck gun, a handgun that I could leave locked up in a truck during the day if I couldn't carry it. It should be cheap enough that if it were stolen, I wouldn't be out too much money. Usually the LCP stayed with me all day long, but I had begun leaving this Walther PPS in the truck during the day. It's still the most expensive handgun that I own, and I wasn't comfortable using it as a truck gun. I began looking for the ideal truck gun, powerful, dependable, and cheap. What I came up with was this handgun here, the Ruger SP101 in .357 Magnum. It's built like a tank. It fires a powerful .357 Magnum round, and you don't get any more dependable than a revolver. It cost around $430 at Lawman's. That's a very reasonable price for a quality handgun. Now you might wonder why I wanted this Ruger when I had the Smith & Wesson available. After all, it had been replaced in a bedside table by the FNP9, but mainly it's the size. A snub-nosed revolver is easier to carry, and it stows away easier in a glove box. Besides, my wife's more comfortable shooting the Smith & Wesson than the FNP9. Well, let's go out to my truck and do an on-site review of the features of the Ruger SP101. Well, here we are at my 10-year-old GMC Sierra. This has been a good truck. It has 112,000 miles on it, but it's still going strong. I carry my Ruger SP101 in this Galco paddle holster. Easy on, easy off, which makes it convenient for a truck gun. I store it in this center console, just like that, along with a speed loader. But the way that console opens up makes it hard to get the gun in and out. It's not as convenient if I needed it in an emergency. I'll show you another type of console that's a lot more convenient. Alright, this is my father-in-law's GMC Yukon. He's the ex-Marine. I did a video about him serving in World War II at Iwo Jima. And I've noticed that the center console in his vehicle is much more convenient to store my handgun. I drive this vehicle just to exercise it so the battery doesn't go dead. But it opens up differently and the handgun fits in there very neatly. I like this a lot better. Now there's one thing unique about South Carolina and North Carolina gun laws. If that gun was out on the seat or in plain view, in South Carolina it would be called brandishing. But in North Carolina, when I cross the state line going home, I have to pull that handgun out and put it on the seat in plain view. I don't know, I like South Carolina's laws better. Well, I'm back in my pickup now. Since I usually don't carry this gun any farther than from the house to the truck, weight really isn't an issue, but it does weigh 25 ounces. It's a pretty stout little handgun, but I appreciate that weight when firing .357 Magnum rounds. It has a strong 3-point lockup. I'll try to demonstrate that to you. This is the cylinder latch, and it locks the cylinder in place. This is the center pin lock, and then it has a third point of lockup, and it's right above my finger there. It's the front latch. When the cylinder's closed, that locks in place into the frame. The capacity is 5 rounds of .357 Magnum, but whenever I carry this gun, I also carry an HKS speed loader with another 5 rounds, and that brings it up to 10 rounds. Ruger's known for their graffiti. It's not too bad with this gun. On this side you just have Ruger SP101 and .357 Magnum. This side though is where the graffiti comes in. You got read your instruction manual and where it's manufactured. It's not too bad though, it doesn't bother me. I do like the rubber grips. I've left mine alone. I left the insert alone. You can't exchange that to personalize the grip some. I like these because I think they're better for concealed carry, and I can get adequate purchase when firing the gun. I want to talk about the cylinder release button just a second. This is Ruger style, and there are 3 that I'm familiar with, but with this one you just push it in to release the cylinder. With Smith & Wessons you push it forward, and with Colt you pull it back. I think of those 3, I like Smith & Wessons the best of all. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the action. This pistol can be fired in either double or single action. Now remember, I do have this loaded with A-Zoom snap caps, so we're safe here to fire. But I like having an exposed hammer so that you can fire it in single action if you want to. I've noticed a big difference in Ruger and Smith & Wesson's action, and you can tell it when you stage the trigger. Staging the trigger is pulling it back until the cylinder locks in place and then releasing the trigger. Or at least that's how you can practice it. And with the Ruger I can do this very fast without firing the gun. With the Smith & Wesson it's not as easy to do because the action is so smooth that it's hard to tell exactly where to stage that trigger. Smith & Wesson has a much smoother action, but I really prefer the action of this gun. I can shoot it more accurately. Here's what it looks like with staging that trigger before firing with live ammo. Okay, I also want to talk about safety features. There's one primary safety feature on this gun, and it's a transfer bar that comes up when the trigger's pulled. But when the trigger's pulled, the hammer comes back, and that transfer bar comes up and covers the firing pin. That allows the energy from the hammer when it falls to fire the firing pin. And it prevents accidental discharges from just dropping the gun and it going off. I also want to talk about the sights. The rear sights are milled into the frame. They're fixed sights, of course. The front sight is a ramp sight. But I think these are plenty accurate, and I'll show you some targets to show it. Now, even though this barrel is almost half the length of the Smith & Wesson, it's just as accurate for me. At 5 and at 7 yards, I put 5 rounds well within a 2-inch radius as measured from the point of aim. At 15 yards, the shots do tend to spread out a little, but here with this target they stayed within a 3-inch radius. At 25 yards, the 5 rounds were within a 5-inch radius. But given the fact that if I ever have to use this weapon for self-defense, it'll probably be at under 7 yards. So I think the Ruger SP101 is plenty accurate. I want to summarize with some of the positive and negatives. It's a powerful handgun in a compact package. I carry it in this Galco paddle holster, and it's very easy on and easy off, which is convenient for a truck gun. I like having it on my side when I return home at the end of the day, especially when the house has been empty. And it's just a fun gun to shoot, so I end up shooting it more than my other guns. The negatives are fairly minor, but it does have a few. It only holds 5 rounds, but with a speed loader that brings that up to 10 pretty quickly, and 10 rounds of .357 Magnum should get the job done. The fit and finish could be better. This particular handgun has some sharp edges, and in particular the edge of this trigger guard right here tends to rub my finger wrong. One flaw that I blame myself on for not noticing when I was buying the gun is this blemish or cloudy area in the barrel right here. I'll try to give you a close-up of that if you can't see it in this shot. I guess I was just too excited about making the purchase to notice it. The last criticism is minor also, and it's just that the gun tends to heat up in the truck during hot summer South Carolina days. The Walther with polymer lower didn't heat up as much. Overall, I found this little tank to be a fun gun to carry and to shoot. It gets a thumbs up from me. I'd buy it all over again without that blemish the next time. This is the fifth in a series of videos that I plan to make on my next gun. The next video will cover my choice in a .22 caliber handgun. I'll send a gift to the first subscriber who names the .22 handgun that I purchased. Please subscribe if this theme is of interest to you. Take care and enjoy some close-up shots of the Ruger SP101.